What is up, everybody? It's Out of Order. Welcome back to another video, and in this video I'm going to be teaching you guys how to edit Black Ops 2. I'm going to be going over every single thing you need to know about Black Ops 2, from green screening to depth mapping to recording cinematics, recording POV shots, recording in high FPS like 600 FPS, 300 FPS, using BO2 Streams. I'm going to be going over some mods for Black Ops 2, how to set up Redacted, all that stuff. Basically every single thing you need to know. I'll even be going over some extra stuff like how to change the Skybox and how to set up Reshade, and of course we'll be going over the basics like setting up your demos folder, setting up demos, all that stuff. And yeah, so I'll have some timestamps on screen and some timestamps in the description. So yeah, if you guys need to fast forward somewhere or anything, just feel free to click on wherever you want to go to. And of course, if you have any questions, feel free to message me on Twitter, Discord, or in the comments down below. I'll reply to everything. So yeah, if you have any questions or anything, you need help with anything, let me know. And yeah, I'll help you guys out. So let's start off with what is Redacted. Redacted is essentially a mod that allows you to like use other mods for Black Ops 2, and it basically like it helps you and prevents you from getting VAC banned, and allows you to install like custom skyboxes and do a bunch of other cool stuff. You will be needing this for editing, as some of the editing tools I'll be showing in this video, like advanced dolly cams, don't really work well on the Steam Black Ops 2 version. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get Black Ops 2. I got my Black Ops 2 on Steam, but I got VAC banned on it, so that kind of sucks. But yeah, you're going to want to get Black Ops 2. You can pirate it and do all that stuff. The Redacted, it works perfectly fine with pirated copies of Black Ops 2, but I'm going to be using the Steam version. So yeah, you're just going to want to, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to install Black Ops 2 from Steam, and then you're going to want to duplicate your Black Ops 2 folder. So I'll show you what the folder looks like here. The Black Ops 2 folder is usually in your Steam games library. It's like Steam apps, common, and you know, just where you would find your game file directory. So you're going to want to duplicate that, and I just duplicated mine onto my desktop. So once you've duplicated your Black Ops 2 folder, you're just going to want to install Redacted. I'll leave a link in the description to Gmzorz website that has a Redacted community page. So you're just going to want to download Redacted off that. And to install it, it's really simple. You're just going to want to get your duplicated folder, get the Redacted folder, and then you're just going to want to select everything in there, copy, and paste it into the Black Ops 2 folder. Now, I've already done that, so I'm not going to do it again, but it might ask to replace some files, so just say yes for that. And once that's done, you've officially installed Redacted, and so yeah, everything should be working perfectly fine. You will notice these two files in particular. These ones are really important. These are the Redacted versions of Black Ops 2, so if you launch that version right there, I believe that's the Steam version, but then again, I don't really know the Steam version because I'm VAC banned and it won't even work. So yeah, you will notice these versions right here. These two are the Redacted ones. If you want to edit zombies, you'll click on this version, and if you want to edit multiplayer, you'll click on this version. Now that we have Redacted installed, we're just gonna launch it up real quick. So I'm just gonna open that. You will notice this thing pop up, and while we have that open up, here's another thing. If you want to change your username in Redacted, you're going to want to find this folder, this file right here. Sorry. And then you're just going to want to open with Notepad. Now you will notice this thing right here. This is just a text document, and then right here is where you change your username, because it's not going to have your Steam version. It's not going to have your Steam username. It's going to use the username. And by default, I'm pretty sure it's literally just called Redacted. So if you don't want your name to show up as Redacted when you kill enemies, just change it to whatever you want. And that's how to change your username in Redacted. So now that we have Redacted open, you will notice that you can't really play online. Like, you can click find a match and it'll just be searching for whatever. So yeah, ranking system also doesn't really work on here. But this is essentially like, it's hard to explain. It's basically like a version of Black Ops 2 that's like only single player. So like no VAC, none of that stuff. You can mod it and do whatever you want to it, really. So yeah, I'm just gonna be showing you how to set up your demos folder. It's really simple. You're gonna want to turn on game recording, and let me just pick up this map or whatever, and then start a game. So I'm just gonna start a game real quick. But yeah, make sure game recording is on, otherwise it won't work. So yeah, I just got into a game of Redacted. As you can see, it looks like normal Black Ops 2. And I'm just going to wait for the match to start, and then I'm just going to end the match real quick so we can create the demos folder. This is if you've never used Redacted before. If you've already like used Redacted and like experimented, you don't really need to do this part. So yeah, let me just I don't know, let me just do that, and then let me end the game real quick. So that should create the demos folder, and the demos folder is essentially like, it's a folder where you keep all your like theater mode shit. So like, you know, if you hit like a sick clip or whatever, it's gonna show up in the demos folder. But there is a lot more to know about the demos folder, which we'll get into later. Now, another thing you're gonna want to know is that for some reason you have to wait 10 seconds after the game exits, or after the match ends. Let me explain real quick. So basically, if I leave the lobby right now, without waiting 10 seconds, there's like a 50% chance your demo, well, not really 50, I'd say like 100%, 99% chance, okay? There's a 99% chance your demo will not save, which sucks because sometimes you'll hit like a sick ass shot or whatever, and then you leave the game or you leave the lobby without even thinking, and it's like, oh shit, the demo's gone forever. So after you end the match, just wait 10 seconds or so and it should save. I have heard of cases where you don't need to do it, like people say like if you end the game manually, you don't have to wait, or like if the timer runs out, you don't have to wait. But for me, after everything, that never works for me. I always have to wait 10 seconds. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I have a slow hard drive or something, but for some people, they don't have to wait, but for me, I have to wait. So just you know, take the precaution and just wait 10 seconds. It's really not a big deal. So after the 10 seconds are up, let's open up the redacted folder of Black Ops 2, and if you go into plugins, open net storage, cloud, you'll see film MP and film ZM. This is for zombies mode. And this is for MP, sorry. And this top one is for multiplayer. So as you can see, there's our demo right there. These 4 files equal a demo. And a demo, like I said, is essentially the theater mode file. And if we go into theater mode, you'll see that there it is. There's the demo file or whatever. So yeah, I'm just going to delete that, and I'll explain why right now. Because the thing is that you can't have more than one demo in this folder. If you do have more than one demo, you'll get an error when you go to this page. I have heard of cases, like I said, of people having like 4 demos in here, 3, 2, but like I said, that doesn't really work for me. I don't know how people get it to work, but for me, it only works with one demo. So you're just going to want to have one demo in there at all times, or not at all times, but just one demo at max. So now that we've got that covered, I'm going to be going over the next thing. This part is entirely optional. I'm going to be showing you how to set up Reshade. So if we go into my redacted folder, you'll see Reshade setup. I'll leave a link in the description to download Reshade. Reshade is essentially a mod that like allows you to customize some of the stuff like ambient occlusion, anti-aliasing, and stuff like that basically. And it does have ZDepth, but I'll talk about ZDepth later in the video. So yeah, I already have Reshade installed, but to install Reshade, you're just going to want to launch the setup, and then you're going to want to select your T6MP file, and then you're going to want to make sure Direct3D 10 and up is selected, and then download all the effects that pop up. You don't have to download them all, but I like downloading them all just because if I want to, you know, choose some effects later. But yeah, that's how you set up Reshade. I'll be talking about Reshade later and what it does exactly, but that's how to install Reshade. Now, another common thing is that a lot of people will have like real clips that like they hit on the Steam version, like actual real frags. And or custom frags if you want to download frags by another person, like if someone posts their demo file on Discord or whatever and you want to use it on your edit. You can do that. You can definitely do that. You just got to go into your little MP file over here, or folder, sorry, and you're just going to put it in here. But there is one thing you have to do. So the thing that you have to do before you use real frags is you need to go into your zone folder and then go into redacted. And then you're just going to rename this. By default, it'll say patch_redacted.ff. And basically what that is that is custom weapons. So Redacted installs a lot of custom weapons. Like, I believe it installs the MSR and a few other guns from older games. So, yeah, you cannot use the custom weapons with real demos, like from Steam and stuff. So, you're going to want to rename this to whatever, alright? So, like, yeah, by default, it'll be patch.redacted or patch_redacted.ff. That's gonna mess it up. That's the custom weapons. You don't want that when using real demos, otherwise the demos won't work properly and it'll crash. So just rename the patch.redacted to whatever we can call it. Piss Monkey, or just anything but patch_redacted, and you should be good. Now, this is the one part of the tutorial I cannot show you because I'm VAC banned. I can't show you how to convert Steam demos into redacted demos because you can't just use the Steam demos file into your redacted. It just won't work. You have to use a mod by Team A that basically converts a Steam demo into a redacted demo, but sadly, I can't show you that because I'm VAC banned. So that's the only part of the tutorial I'm missing out on. So anyway, back to BO2. 2. So I'm just going to hit a very basic frag. So let me just, okay. Yeah, I'm just going to hit a very basic frag. I'm just going to set enemy bots on, put them on recruit, and then you can change the map, game settings, all that stuff. It's just like normal Black Ops 2. So let's just do Nuketown, for example, and then start the matchup. So I have a mod that basically adds a crosshair, and it basically just always makes your bullets go straight. It's really useful for hitting frags and stuff. So like if you want to hit some jump shots and no scopes and stuff, this is the mod to get. It's really simple. I'll show you how to install it later. So as you can see, we can just no scope like that, and then no scope like, or that wasn't no scope, but you get the idea. We can just no scope and stuff all we want. And yeah, another thing you can do is you can switch weapon camos like by just pressing F. Like, yeah, it's pretty sick. Honestly, this mod is amazing. But yeah, I'll show you how to install it later. So let's just hit a frag real quick. Let's just go boom, boom. Oh, come on. So yeah, I just ended the game. I'm just gonna wait 10 seconds to make sure the demo file saves. And of course, you're gonna want to make sure that there's nothing in the demos folder. So let's just go check. And yeah, there's the Nuketown. That's just the one that's the demo file we recorded just now. So yeah, there's only one in there. And yeah, once that's done, we're ready for editing. So you faked a frag, or you're using someone else's frag. Now it's time to the actual fun part, the actual editing recording part. So here's what you're gonna want to do. You're gonna want to go to theater, select film, and then you'll see some things here. And if it's not there, you're just going to click one of these buttons and it'll refresh or whatever. So yeah, just refresh it and then you should see it. We're gonna select that film. Now there's two options here. You can click start film, or where is it? Codcast film. And I'll tell you the differences right now. Codcast film has the plus 100. So if you want that plus 100 every time you kill someone, go to Codcast film. If you're trying to record cinematics or you don't want the plus 100, go to start film. Now I personally don't like the plus 100, so I'm going to go to start film, and you can only record cinematics on the start film version. You can't record cinematics on Codcast film. So let's just go to start film. So as you can see, this is the frag we just hit. We can go into third person by pressing F3, or we can go free cam by pressing F3 again. Now I'm going to stick to first person because I'm going to show you how to record a POV shot. So now we're on to the next part, which is external consoles. Now what an external console is, you're going to need one. So it is essentially a tool that allows you to execute commands into Black Ops 2. Now there are some free ones and there are some paid ones. So I'm going to be using a paid one. This is BO2 console by Team A, or Amis tool as it used to be called. So here we go. So as you can see, this is the external console. Now I'm going to show you how to use this. So right here is a single config command. Right here is the timescale, and here is the actual config box. So I'm just going to load a config. So these are the only configs I have right now. This is the main one I use for POVs. So I'm just going to load the config, and as you can see, there's a bunch of settings here and stuff. It's just going to basically code the game into looking better. That's the simplest way to put it. So we loaded it. Now if we click send config, you'll notice the game looks a little bit different now. Now it doesn't look too different, but it does look different. So now if we try playing it, you'll notice the game's all slow now. Now the reason that it is slow is because I have a timescale config or devar here. So as you can see, there's a timescale devar here. It basically makes the game slower. But up here, you can also enter timescale devars. So if I put 1 into the timescale, it's going to be it's going to be normal speed basically. And I'm just going to speed it up to where we get to the frag. So now I'm going to show you how to record a POV shot. To record a POV shot, you're going to want to press F2, as that's going to toggle the HUD, unless you want the HUD for some reason, which I don't really know why. But yeah, if you want the HUD, then I guess. And if you want the kill feed in, use Codcast film. I forgot to mention that. So anyway, I'm just going to hide the HUD, and then I'm going to hide the controls too by pressing F4. And then I'm going to slow the game down to a timescale of 0.1. Now what this will do is it'll make the game a lot slower. Now you're going to want to record this with a program like Fraps, Dxtory, or you can even use OBS. I used to use OBS to record this, but I use Fraps now. I've tried using Dxtory, but I prefer Fraps, honestly. So what you're gonna want to do is slow the game down to 0.1, and then you're just gonna play it out and record it. Now So yeah, you would record this with fraps or DxR, whatever, basically. And if you record in 30 FPS with a timescale of 0.1, you'll get 300 FPS. If you record with 60 FPS, you'll get 600 FPS. So yeah, I usually record in 60 FPS because, I don't know, 600 is just better to edit to, honestly. And yeah, so, you know, let's just pretend we're recording this. So we're recording this with fraps, whatever, you know, all that stuff, you know, and let's just say we finish recording. Okay. Now, there are two things to do once you record it. You can either VDub it or virtual dub it, or you can just import it into After Effects or Vegas or whatever and just edit it, and just speed it up in there and edit it. But yeah, that's how to record a POV shot. It's extremely easy. And now I'm going to show you how to record a cinematic. Now, to record a cinematic, you're going to need another tool. And this tool is called Advanced Dolly Cam. So I'm gonna get it right here. So as you can see, it is in my BO2 MVM folder, final release, and you'll see Role Mod Loader. I'll leave a download link to Team A's website, which has this tool and this tool and another tool that I'll show you later in the video. So yeah, Team A's website will be in the description, but you're gonna want to download Advanced Dolly Cams. Now this will show up as a virus. This will show up as a false positive on 99% of viruses and on Windows Defender. So as you can see, I loaded up. I'll load it up fine because I already, you know, approved of it in my antivirus and all that stuff. But it will show up as a false positive. But I can 100% guarantee you that this is not a virus. Team A has posted the source code before and revealed, you know, to show proof that it's not a virus. So, you know, the developers even show themselves that it's not a virus. So you can trust it, all right? So once you launch up Advanced Dolly Cam, you're going to want to click on Load Mod. And you will see successfully loaded mod. That means, you know, you did it right. So yeah. So once you've loaded the mod, click on other, and you'll see a few settings here. Now I'll show you how to do this stuff. Now here's another thing. When recording a cinematic, you're going to want to go to a player who is far away from the actual frag. So this guy, for an example, this guy's pretty far away from where a player was, because let me show you right now. Now the reason you're gonna want to switch to someone far away from the where the actual clip is because if you use the POV of your guy, so this, if I switch over to free cam mode when I have the POV on this guy, your player models are going to stutter. So when you slow the game down to a timescale of 0.1, the player models will stutter. No idea why this happens, but just make sure that the POV shot is of someone far away from it. It's really weird, I know. So let's just go here. So then we're gonna fly over to where the clip is, and yeah, that's how to prevent the player models from stuttering. Now to record a cinematic, you're gonna want to use a different config than the what's it called, POV config. I'll leave a link to a website down below that allows you to get hundreds of configs for Black Ops 2. All of them are like movie making. It's called CFG Factory, but I'm just going to be using a cinematic config, so I'll use this Cine config, and then we're going to send config. Now you will notice that the config field of view doesn't activate right away. You have to play it a little bit. So if I press spacebar, you'll notice it zooms in. You have to play it out a little bit before like the field of view config or DVAR loads. So here we are. Let's just make a simple cinematic. To do that, you're gonna want to go to free cam mode, and then you're gonna want to click a little bit until at the bottom of the screen it says edit camera mode. So now that we're in edit camera mode, let's get started. Now you can you can make a Dutch angle if you use your mouse wheel. Now you're only able to do this if you used Advanced Dolly Cam. If you don't have Advanced Dolly Cams running or whatever, you don't use it, you won't be able to make Dutch angles. So yeah, that's another cool thing. And if you hold shift and mouse wheel, you can change the field of view. So you can make vertigo effects or dolly zooms, I think that's what they're called. You can do dolly zoom cinematics by keyframing the field of view, or not keyframe, adding a camera marker at the field of view. So yeah, let's just make a simple cinematic. Now I like using only two or three camera markers. So we'll do 3. So I'm gonna show you how to do that. So let's start the cinematic off right here. You're gonna want to press F on your keyboard. It'll make a marker, and then play it out a little bit. So we're at the part where he kills that guy. Let's add another keyframe. So let's go right there. So yeah, that's that. So what I like to do is I like to put 2 camera markers first, go back to Advanced Dolly Cam, go to first camera marker, and then go back into edit camera mode by clicking down. Don't have it on a dolly camera, otherwise if you do, it's just gonna just gonna play the cinematic out. So let's just go back to go to first camera marker, and then we're going to want to go to dolly camera. So what I like to do, what I find that works best, is to find a part where it's at the middle between the two, and then record another, and then place another marker. Sorry. So let's do one right there. So as you can see, it's a lot. I guess you can say it'll look better. So let's just go back to first camera or dolly marker, and then play it out. Now, as you can see, we got a pretty good cinematic. Well, not a pretty good, but we got a cinematic basically. Now, the reason I say this to go in between the middle of the two is because what happens if you record marker here, and let's say we go here, and then we go here or something. Like if you just spam dolly markers like this, you'll notice that the cinematic is gonna look terrible. So let's just go to first dolly marker and then play it out. As you can see, the speed fluctuates throughout the cinematic, which is not good, okay? This isn't like hlae or IW3 MVM where you can just spam camera markers and get a good cinematic. It's not like that, okay? hlae, you can just spam, just spam as many camera markers as you want. It'll probably look great, but BO2, it's a little different. You can also switch the camera interpolation by switching between linear and eased. Eased is basically a smoother. Linear is, well, linear. You can also save the cam path as a file to re-record the cinematics later, but I never really do that. So yeah, that's how to record a cinematic. And to record the cinematic, you're just going to repeat exactly what we did for the POV shot, which is just exec your config, timescale 0.1, 30 equals 300, 60 equals 600. I think you get the idea, but yeah, that's how to record a cinematic in high FPS. Just slow the game down and then record. Now that we have covered how to record a cinematic and how to record a POV clip, let's talk about green screening and ZDepth. So to green screen your gun out, you can either use a green screen devar or a green screen config. So I have a green screen config right here. As you can see, it's just called green screen. This is the settings basically for making a green screen. As you can see, the screen is, well, it's a green screen. Another way of doing it, let me just do green screen off and then go back to my main config. So another way of doing it is by using this tool right here. Some other external consoles have this feature, but I like this one the most. Yeah, this tool comes with a green screen toggle. If you go to the theater settings, you'll see we have a green screen toggle. Now you can do more than green screen. You can make a red screen, a blue screen, and a purple screen. So if your gun is like green, if you're using that freaking 115 cam or whatever, you would want to use like a blue screen. But yeah, that's how to make a green screen. Now I'm going to show you how to green screen players. Now green screen players is a little bit different. It's not like CSGO. So let's just find our guy, for example. So here's our guy, and we want to green screen him for a cinematic. So to green screen a cinematic, there are 3 ways. 2 of them don't always work. 1 of them works, but it's kind of shitty. So I'm going to show you all of them. So the first method of green screen is to green screen the players. So what you'll do is you'll toggle this button right here on Am's tool, on Team A's tool. You're going to toggle that and it'll green screen. Now you're going to want to record a pass that has a normal world thingy, just normal BO2 cinematic, and then you're gonna want to record a green screen one. So once you have the one of the players and the one of the green screen, in After Effects or Vegas or whatever, there is a way to basically interpret the footage to make it so that only the stuff on the green screen will show, which is kind of cool. But the problem you'll notice, which is right here, the guns aren't green screen. Now this sucks because if you're trying to green screen the player and like you want to have like the background, you'll notice the character will be running without a gun, which really sucks. But it's also kind of good if you just want to have an effect on the players. So if you don't want the guns affected, this is a good method. So let's say you want the players to have, I don't know, AE pixel sort, glitchify, and S-distort, whatever, you know what I mean. If you want it to be on just the players, this is a good method, but it doesn't get the guns, which kind of sucks because you'll see some edits where the players will be running without guns and it looks really weird. So I'm going to show you the next method. So the next method on green screening the players, this one actually has the gun with it, but this method does not always work. So to do this method, all you got to do is in your command box or your config box, type underscore Z far and then make it 1. Now you'll notice the game looks hella weird now. Now the next thing I want to do is you're going to want to click this button right here to make the sky a green screen. Now this method rarely works. It only works on some maps. So to do this method, you're gonna want to find your player, and you want to try and move your camera into a position where the player is visible, but the ground and objects aren't. So right here, for example, see, I got it. Now, once you find a position where the player is visible and the ground and all that stuff isn't, you're gonna want to go into your config box, type r underscore lock pvs1, and as you can see, it locks it, and our player is somewhat green screened. So if we were recording a cinematic from this angle, it might actually work. But as you can see, for this instance, it did not work. This method only works, I'd say, less than a quarter of the time. This method rarely works for me, but it does work sometimes. And when it works great. So yeah, that's how to do that. I'm just gonna go lock PVS back to 0, RZ far back to 0, get our normal BO2 back to normal, and let me just remove it. So that's the second method on how to green screen players. Now the third method to green screening players is different than both of those. This one uses the fog method. Now I rarely ever see people use this one, and you'll see why. So let's just try these people, for example. So to do the fog method, you're going to want to go into your fog settings on Amaz tool. Now you can use cheat engine for this part, but I don't really use cheat engine. But yeah, you're gonna want to, go to your fog settings. Now, I already have a green screen preset, and this is what it looks like. So to do this method, make sure your fog settings look like this, and then you're just going to want to play around with the settings. So let's just try and get it best we can. So after playing with the settings for about 5 minutes or so, this is what my settings are. You can copy them if you like. This is probably the best green screen I can get with the fog method. As you can see, it's not very good. It's pretty bad, actually, I'd say. It does work though. I have actually gotten this method to work great. I've used it before in edits, but most of the time it's a bad method. If you can probably mess with the settings more and get better results, but this is probably the best I could do with this method. So now that we've covered green screening, I'm going to show you how to do depth mapping. Now, depth mapping is a whole lot easier than green screening players. So to do depth mapping, there are 3 ways as well. So you got 3 ways for green screening and 3 ways for depth mapping. So to depth map, the first way, which I recommend, this is the best way in my opinion, is to use Team A's tool and to just click on that depth map thing. Now you will notice I have some ambient occlusion still. That's with Reshade. So when you're using a Reshade, turn off ambient occlusion, otherwise it'll show through the depth map. But as you can see, we got a Z depth map. Now, yeah, it's pretty nice. Honestly, I really recommend this method. Now you will notice some particles do show up. So like fog and stuff will show up, and it can ruin the clip sometimes, but a majority of times it looks fine. Like this right here is a good depth map. Now, the next method, which is the one I don't recommend, is using Reshade. Now, if you go to Reshade, you will see Reshade has a depth map in here. Let me find it. So here it is right here, display depth. Now, I have a hotkey set to it, so if you click on display depth, and you will need to change some settings, so just copy my settings right here that I have. And yeah, you will get a depth map using Reshade. Now, this depth map is a lot cleaner than the Team A's depth map. It doesn't show the particles. Like, as you can see, the particles right here aren't there anymore. But the reason I don't recommend this method is it is very inaccurate, alright? On some maps, some objects and stuff just don't load at all. Like, it's hard to explain. I don't know, like for an example, there was a car on, I don't remember what map it was, I forgot. It was the one with all the shipping packages, but there was like a car there that didn't load using the Z depth map on Reshade. So when you're editing and you put the depth map into After Effects, you'll notice like an area that doesn't have depth, and you'll see it's like the silhouette of a car, and you're like, what the hell? And it just ruins it completely. It makes it almost completely unusable. Now, this does work sometimes. I have seen people use this really effectively, but for most of the time, I just recommend using the Team A's depth map, because The Reshade one is just inaccurate at times. And the next way to depth map, which brings us on to our next segment, BO2 Streams. Now let me just launch a, let me just find my thing. I got so much stuff on here. So BO2 Streams. BO2 Streams is another mod by Team A. So what it is it is essentially it's essentially MERV streams or MVM streams. So if you know what MVM streams or MERV streams is, it is essentially that, but for Black Ops 2. Now this one is really, really nice. I'm not gonna lie, I love and hate this thing at the same time. Like, don't get me wrong, it is amazing, but it is very, very slow. So let me show you. So as you can see, I just made a really basic cinematic, and there's the stuttering, by the way. I didn't show it earlier, but that's what the stuttering looks like when you don't switch the POV thing. But I'm just gonna leave it because I don't really care. So for BO2 streams, you're gonna want to go, what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to click a start tick thingy, and then go to the end of the clip, so right there, and then click end tick, and then you're going to want to get a recording path. So to do that, you're just going to make a folder, and we're just going to call this freaking Alouche. All right, we're just going to call the folder Alouche. Now what we're going to want to do is go to Alouche, copy and paste, or no, copy the little folder URL and then paste it into recording path, and that's where all your stuff is going to be saved to. Now the cool thing about this is you can choose what you want to well, basically streams. So we want, let's say we want a green screen streams, which is actually pretty useless here because this is a cinematic. If you were doing a POV, you would want that, but you know, this is a cinematic, it doesn't really work for cinematics. But yeah, so if you want no players, toggle that. If you want green players, which I do want, you know, toggle that. And if you want a green sky, you can, you know, do this thing there. If you want depth, you know, do depth. And the depth on here is a lot better than Reshade's depth and the BO2 Tool's depth. So I really, really love this depth map. Now, you have two methods. You have this one right here and this one. If this one doesn't work, try this one. And you also have two reshade keybinds here. So if you want an effect that has reshade, so let's just say you want, I don't know, you want a monochrome pass for some reason. You could put, you could select monochrome, and then, you know, put a hotkey, and then basically what you put for that hotkey, put in there, and it'll record that, which is really stupid. Don't do monochrome because you could just do that in After Effects, but I'm sure everyone knows that. But yeah, and the next part about BO2 streams is to frame rate. If you want 50, 100, 500, 1000, you know, just pick whatever frame rate you want. You also have the option to shut down the computer when your thing finishes streaming, and then you have two capture methods. You know, I recommend this one. That one doesn't work, use that one. You can test whether it works or not there. And the next thing over here, this is what you would do if you want to get mobile notifications. There's a way to get this to send your phone a notification of when it's done, basically. So yeah, Team A already has a tutorial on that. I'll link it in the description below. So anyway, I want green players and I want depth, and by default it'll always record a world layer. Like, no matter what, it's always gonna record a world layer. So this is 3 layers right here. So we got a start point and end point selected already, and just make sure there's nothing on your BO2, so like the HUD's not there or whatever, because it will show up on the recording. Same with Reshade, make sure Reshade isn't open. But other than that, we're ready to go. So we got nothing on our BO2, which is great, you know, nope. So other than that, you're good to go. Just click on start, and it should do its thing. So as you can see, it is recording the streams now. It's recording each frame individually, and they will all be synced up, all right? They will be synced up 100%, so, you know, you're not gonna get like some buggy stuff where like the depth map doesn't sync up with the world layer. They're always going to sync up. And another thing, if you notice that the players aren't moving or whatever, and it's just recording a still, you know, make sure that you have dolly cam selected at the bottom HUD, the little timeline shit. Make sure dolly cam is selected and not edit camera mode or free cam mode. Make sure dolly cam is there. Otherwise, you're just going to be recording a still shot, which is kind of boring. But yeah, as you can see, we are streaming this. So I'm not going to wait 10 minutes for a 5-second cinematic. As you can see, this is the bane of BO2 streams, alright? This tool works amazing, but the reason nobody uses it is because it takes so long, like extremely long. As you can see, it's a 5-second cinematic, and it's gonna take 10 minutes to finish. So yeah, I'm not gonna wait 10 minutes for 5 seconds. If you have the time, then you can use BO2 Streams, and you can go AFK with the notifications and stuff and get alerted. But for the most case, I don't really recommend using it because it's too slow. But if we go back to our folder, you'll notice 3 other folders. We got the depth layer, and the green players, and the world. So yeah, that works great. Another common issue with BO2 streams is that you'll notice some frames drop. Like as you can see right here, this is in the depth map thingy, and it looks really weird. You're like, what the hell? Why is there a freaking blank one there? Now that does happen sometimes, but to fix that, you're gonna want to increase the capture delay. So as you can see here is the capture delay. If I record to my SSD, I can have the capture delay at 1 or 2 and it'll work. But if you're using a hard drive, you might want to increase it to 50 or 100 or 200. I've heard of people having to go to like 500. So yeah, that's the problem with BO2 streams. It doesn't work for everybody because of the capture delay and stuff. You have to increase it. And even when you increase it, it doesn't always work. You'll still drop frames here and there. So BO2 streams, I wouldn't recommend it right now, but it is there if you need it. Now that I'm done showing you how to use BO2 streams, record depth maps, green screen, POV, all that stuff, I'm going to show you how to install mods now. So to install mods, you're going to want to go into your Redacted folder, and you're going to want to go into Data and Scripts. And you'll see I already have a mod here, Pro Mod. That is by Gmzorz, and that is the mod that allows you to switch camos. And as you can see, I already have a mod here. This is Pro Mod by Gmzorz. That's the mod that allows you to switch camos and make your bullets always shoot straight. I highly recommend you get it. It used to be paid, but I think it's free now. Gmzorz made everything on his selfie store free. So I recommend getting that because it comes with a lot of stuff. It also comes with a cheat engine file that allows you to slow the game down when you're hitting frags and stuff. So if you're trying to do trick shots and stuff and slow the game down, you can do that with Gmzorz, a cheat engine file that comes with it. So that's how to install mods. You just gotta place the file into your scripts folder. There is a free mod by Shutter, I believe, that allows you to spawn immobile bots and allows you to like make explosive bullets and make your bullets always like hit the enemy and stuff. But I personally don't really like using that mod because the bots don't move. That's why I use Gmzorz mod, because it looks a lot cooler when the bots are moving, you know? So if you want to hit cool shots, get Gmzorz mod. It's amazing. I highly recommend it. So now I'm going to show you how to install custom skies. This part is really easy. To get custom skies, you're also going to need Gmzorz mod pack thingy for Black Ops 2. I'll leave a link to everything in the description. So to install custom skies, just go into Gmzorz pack and find a sky you like. So let's just say we want let's just say we want a night sky. So you go into the folder, and then there will be a file called ren in that pack. You're gonna want to copy and paste it into the folder that has the sky, and then you're just gonna want to run it. Now once you run it, you'll get a ton of files right here. So as you can see, we got, well, a ton of files here, and you're just gonna want to copy and paste all those files into your data images folder on the redacted version. So yeah, just copy and paste it into this folder, and you'll get a custom skybox. Honestly, all of Gmzorz skyboxes look absolutely amazing, so I recommend using a custom sky. And of course, if you want to, you can green screen the sky out using the BO2 tool. Now, the rest of the features in the BO2 tool are pretty cool. You can change the sun settings, so if you want the sun to have a different position, or you know, want the sky rotation, you can change the temperature of the sky too. You can change the sun intensity, change the color of the sun, sky brightness, you know, make the sky a different transition or whatever, and you know, and of course load and apply presets and all that stuff. You can also customize the depth of field blur using the BO2 tool. So like, yeah, if you want, you know, if you want some depth of field blur, you can use this tool and get some blur, you know? You also have the ability to change the ambient occlusion settings, but I like to use Reshade's ambient occlusion because I feel like it just looks better. And of course, you have the ability to change the fogs, and there's some presets here by Gmzorz, so yeah, you can get some presets, customize them, you know, just do some fogging. Just overall make your game look entirely different. And so once you record your clips, cinematics, depth of field, green screen, all that good stuff, once you're done with that, you can exit out of the film, and so just press escape, leave film. And here's another problem. You will notice this pop up right here. You'll notice the game will freeze. And this will pop up right here, an error. You'll get an error message that says unhandled exception caught. Click OK, and your game should, well, close. Now, if you try running Redacted again, you're still going to get the unhandled exception caught error. Now, to fix this, you're going to want to go into your Redacted folder, go to Players, and you're going to want to delete these files: bindings, hardware, user common, and users MP. Now, these right here are for zombies. Now, if you get the unhandled exception caught from a zombies demo, you're going to want to delete these too. Now, once you delete those files, your game will load again, except here's the problem. All your settings are going to be reset. So if you have custom key bindings or hardware settings, and if you disabled anti-aliasing for Reshade, you're going to notice all your settings will reset. So what I like to do is I like to make a backup. Basically, what I'll do is I'll go into the game, make all my settings, all my keybinds, everything how I like it, and then I'll exit the game without running any of those tools, and then I'll copy and paste it into here. And that is basically everything, guys. That is all I know about Black Ops 2 editing. There are some stuff coming out in the future. I believe Team A is making an AGR tool for Black Ops 2 soon, so I probably will make a tutorial on that. And if BO2 Streams ever gets updated, I will make a tutorial on that as well. I'll also make a tutorial for a bunch of other MVM games, such as maybe CSGO. I'll do a hlae tutorial. I'll probably do another IW3 or IW4 or IW5 MVM tutorial, and any games you want, just let me know and I'll make a tutorial on them. And of course, I do plan on making tutorials on how to do velocity, pan crop, timer mapping, all that stuff too in the future. But that is about everything I know about Black Ops 2 editing. That's the best way to edit Black Ops 2. I've been editing about 5 years in total now. I started off making Counter-Strike frag movies back with hlae and all that stuff, but honestly, I don't really edit Counter-Strike anymore because I hate using hlae. But yeah, guys, that's the end of the tutorial. I really hope you enjoyed. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. I'm going to make a lot more tutorials in the future. And of course, if you have any questions at all or any comments or anything at all, if you need help with anything, feel free to message me on Twitter, Discord, or in the comment section below. And of course, if you want ops on your edit or need more editing help or just want to talk to more editors, join my editing Discord server in the description. And yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. And I'll catch y'all later. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Peace out.